maybe it will stay where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to hit the live.
You're live on Facebook?
Okay. Looks like we're live everywhere.
Looks like it. We got Rosalie back today.
Yay!
Yay, Rosalie.
So send the questions. Send them on in because we'll be able to get to them much easier today with Rosalie back helping us out. So we're awesome to have her back with us.
Yeah, and I'm wearing my Romo jewelry, my necklace, my Amazonite, and she made this lovely bracelet here to match the other Amazonite stuff I got because I've been feeling really drawn to that particular stone. And yeah, it's about wearing it up around my throat chakra.
Oh, girl. I was doing a spirit circle last night through Zoom virtually, and it started out like the normal stuff, the buzzing that you get around the crown and the third eye or whatever, and then like halfway through there was a point in time where there was just I could feel stuff. I could feel it moving here, and in spirit circle you're supposed to share what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. I couldn't form words. There was like 2 or 3 minutes where there was just so much going on right here. Yeah, that I could, and I was like, I wonder
if it was your chemist like working on opening up that throat chakra more. And
and I was kind of like praying that I'm taking this as a healing. I'm taking it as a healing. But it was a lot of stuff going on. I couldn't even.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, after the fact, in the moment it was kind of like, I can't speak. But after it kind of like subsided and everything, I'm like, well, that was pretty cool.
I have to tell you about my dream. And we'll share it with everybody because I told Rosalie about
Morning,
it this
Lynn.
week. Hey, Lynn. So I had this really interesting dream this week, and I woke up, kind of halfway woke up at the end of it. So it really stuck in my mind. But I was talking to an angel, and the angel was genderless. Like, it didn't feel male or female, but I knew that it was an angel. And the angel told me that they were activating the heart chakra energy in the ley lines on the earth right now. So I was like, okay, good, because God knows we need some more love around this planet. But I thought that was, I don't know, it felt like a visitation. It felt so real. So I don't know what it was, but it was cool, whatever it was.
I hadn't told you guys this yet either, but Halloween night. So recently, within the last year, the last of my grandmother's family passed away. So she had one sister left alive, so she'd be my great aunt, and her husband had died earlier in the year, and she passed away just a couple of months ago. And so on Halloween night, I had a dream with my grandfather, her and her husband all together in a room that. So I mean, it was like a family gathering, but they were like the 3 people that I remember. And like she had on this like really big like fascinator hat and everything, and she looked really beautiful. And so when I woke up, I was like, oh, that was a visitation on Halloween night.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
well, that's when you're supposed to be celebrating your.
And I was thinking
Day
of the
Dead.
Yeah, Dia de los Muertos. So I was like, oh, that's awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I love the sweater thing, by the way.
Thank you.
It's so soft.
It is.
I want one.
It's like jammies.
I know.
Jammies. But so yeah, I guess a lot of energy stuff going on this week. So hope you guys have been feeling it too in a good way. If you have, please let us know, share in the comments or message us on Instagram or something, because that's. I mean, that's how we build community, and that's how we kind of like we were talking about the same thing. Yeah, you were talking about you're having like some problems in your hip, and I'm like left hip, and I was like, so it's like the energy is kind of like very, very shared right now. So
we don't know what it's from. But our left hips are jacked up.
Yeah, and don't tell us it's just age, because it's got to be energy. That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Exactly right.
All right, well, let's get into some questions. The first one this week came from Mira, and she said, should I be looking for an opening up to new employment opportunities, or can I anticipate a season of travel to open those doors for me?
Just immediately, yes. On the question of opening up. So this is kind of, is it a twofold question, do you think?
I would take it that way.
Yeah. Or can they walk hand in hand?
Well, so the first one that I had pop out was clear your mind, and you got seer.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
can't make that stuff up, y'all.
Mm-mm. So that made me feel like you're kind of overthinking it.
Yeah.
Like,
The seer also talks about you're seeing things clearly. So if you're asking the question, should I be looking for new opportunities? I would say yes,
and I'm feeling more like it's
because I feel like you already know too.
and as you were reading it,
Oh.
I feel like it is. Well, there were two of them. Rose got
Okay.
it. I feel like it's more about just the opening up, like whether, like it's just opening up to opportunities. Just open up to the opportunities, and the right thing will then present itself. Like whether it is new employment, or whether it is the opportunity to travel, or whether it is something even greater that you're, are not even, is maybe not even on your, in your realm of reality right now. Maybe it's that or greater, but just being open to the opportunity is where I feel like the meat of that question lies.
So just intuitively, I'm feeling like those two things that you're thinking about could walk hand in hand. It doesn't feel like you would go somewhere and be there for a long amount of time, but it feels like kind of a go and come back and go and come back and go and come back. So not like putting down any kind of semi-permanent roots in some particular place. I'm just going to take that one out because it was going to jump right out. So these two that jumped out as well, because they all seem to be jumping out, was the Lady Venus and Faith. So this is trust in yourself, the faith, humanity, and benevolence. Trust in yourself. So trust in your intuitive messages that you're getting about it, because I think you kind of already are feeling what you want or need to do. And then Lady Venus is about downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral planes. So whenever I think about the astral planes, I think about paying attention to your dreams and see if anything is coming through during your dream time. Like, do you dream of being in another place? Do you dream of new experiences or something out of the ordinary? Just pay attention to your dreams.
Go ahead.
And then I pulled the past lives card, and I want to look that up in the book, because I also pulled the fire card, which is about following your passion. So what is it you're feeling passionate about right now? This past life card, unfinished lessons may come in the form of a person, place, or situation. Oh, ain't that fun? They usually play out in our families and close relationships. Lessons of acceptance, approval, speaking your truth, trust, and boundaries are common. I don't know how this relates to this, but maybe you can just take it in and see how it vibes with you. When you are ready to decide that you're done with this cycle, you get to choose if this is the last lifetime you'll spend learning this specific lesson. I feel like this is going to make some sense to you. Look deeper into the situation or question to bring awareness to it. The answer is in how you are reacting. Stop giving your power away to others.
Step into your power.
You have everything you need. Nice. You have everything you need to break the cycle. So reviewing the spiritual relationships card will give you more insight. I'm not going to look at that one right now. But it's about learning the lessons. So don't stay or go for somebody else.
Well, that was what I was getting with the step into your power and everything. Is like, I feel like your whole life you've been told it's got to be a certain way. You got to do it a certain way, and you're kind of like at the point where you need to be doing it your way, and just whatever. You kind of like following your own path, like forging your own path for a while.
Yeah. And then the fire card is about your passion. So fire is telling you to go for it. So,
well, and that's 38 and 39, so they're cards right together.
Building on each other.
Mhm.
If you want to finish, I'm gonna get the book out for
Okay.
my new cards.
Yeah. The next card that came out was imagination. And so when I get that card, the first thing that pops into my mind is like manifesting. So like
Imagine what you would
imagine like what your perfect scenario would be for new employment and for travel and for maybe the two of those melding together, and then imagine it being as big as it can possibly be, and then ask for that or greater. But just like the possibilities and the opportunities are as limitless as your imagination. And the last card that I pulled was like for your next best step. What is the next right step? And I got the card a leg up, but I got it in reverse. And what it's talking about is never feeling like you deserve the help, always trying to do it on your own. And then the last sentence of this really resonated with me for you. And of course, now I
closed the book.
I closed the book and I cannot remember what it was. Reverse. You can't do life all by yourself. Once you shift your expectations, you'll be amazed how quickly help arrives to give you a leg up. So to me, that felt like, opening yourself up to opportunities in general, shifting your expectations. Like, the support is there for you. You just got to be open to it, not necessarily looking like it always has or how people have always told you it should be.
Yes, 100%. And then I pulled this gorgeous The Castle card. And the castle says, visiting your throne of power. So once again, it's about finding your power. I'm just going to read a couple of sentences about this. The castle is loaded with duality. It represents abundant riches, seductive fantasy, ornate wonders, and lavish ornaments. Yet the walls are thick, cold, and shadowy. This card points to the tendency to hold on to possessions or positions that project the image of achievement, while the soul longs to run barefoot in the forest. Girl, if that ain't you, I don't know
what is.
Leaving it all behind. At times we must settle down, yet the castle lulls us with its spell of materialism, and we fall asleep to our deepest dreams. The castle can be a motivating force, an enchanting goal to travel toward, but it is best not to linger within its walls of decadent deception for too long. So I feel like this next phase for you is going to be completely out of the familiar and out of the norm, and you just need to go with whatever your heart is telling you to do. Like, really follow your passion and just go for it, girl.
Yeah.
Go for it while you can.
Yeah.
Because you're still young.
Yeah.
And carefree.
Live it up.
Live it up.
Okay, so the next question comes from Lisa, and it says, what does Spirit want me to know about this divorce? I'm feeling a block lately.
I feel like there's a lot of unknowns still. So that can lead to feeling blocked when there's so many details that aren't ironed out, or actions or reactions of other people that you don't know how it's going to be.
And kind of what I'm feeling is like, if you were getting answers and you were getting steps, you would just keep doing the thing, right? And sometimes that's how we bypass what we have to deal with, is just by, keep moving, keep forging through. And I'm feeling like it's not that you're blocked. It's just that Spirit is not giving you the next step because you need to stay in what you're in for a little while longer.
Yeah.
It's like the cocoon, like you gotta, which I know this is, a shitty answer, but you got to be as healthy as you can be on the next side of this. You got to stay where you are, deal with the things that are going on
Yeah.
And mainly I'm feeling like it's emotions, like deal with the things that you're feeling now, before you get the next step to move on. And the card, again, can't make this up, that actually popped out was closed door. It's time to move on. But I feel like what this is saying is that's why you feel the block. That's what it's kind of like the door hasn't opened to the next phase of it quite yet, because there's still like healing to be done.
I feel like that card goes
Yeah.
with that message as well, like giving to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
allowing yourself to receive.
Abundance is yours. Allow yourself to receive. So, just kind of like maybe there is no action to be taken right now. Maybe it's just a time of healing and self-care, and just feeling the things and dealing with the things before you move on to the next step. But I do feel like it's a very support. I want to say, if you want to call it a block, then that's what we'll name it. I don't feel like that you're blocked, but I feel like it's a very supportive block.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it's a loving place that
Yeah.
you're in.
It's just to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
sit still. So I pulled Higher Self, and this is about your soul paths and your soul lessons. Okay. So it says, if you've asked a question and pulled this card, your higher self has answered. You're being asked to take a closer look at your situation and redirect your energy towards your soul's path. So, and then I pulled the throat chakra with that as well. So speaking your truth. So how that plays into that question, maybe it's just time for you to like be with yourself and take a really close look at what's going on with the divorce, and put your energy into something that feels more aligned. Yeah, thanks. Couldn't think of the words. And then I pulled the protection card, so just know that you're protected and loved, and growth. So, your soul is growing. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. So this, take this as an opportunity to really process the things, fully learn the lesson, understand what it is that this person brought into your life, and what kind of mirror it held up for you to do that self-examination and grow from it. And then
Yeah. I was, asking the Soul's Journey card, like, what should be the focus right now? And these two popped out together, and Lisa, I love you, and I'm sorry, but I gotta say what the cards say: blame and forgiveness. So, like, where is the blame right now? Where are you placing it, and how? Because I feel like the initial, just looking at these cards, you would think oh, she's blaming the other in the situation, but what I feel like is this is more like self-reflecting, and it's like, so where are you placing the blame and like forgiving yourself? It's more like taking the time to look at what you feel like your position was in all of this, and are you feeling blame toward yourself that maybe you're not
I should have done this. I should have seen this. I should have known this.
or even that you're not even verbalizing, like it hasn't bubbled up to the top yet, but getting to a place where you can forgive everything, the other side and yourself as well, of the whole situation.
That's where the growth comes from, when you're able to see the full picture. And then I pulled the self card for you. So the self is about witnessing, accepting new aspects of the self. The self is the prism that allows the spectrum of our personalities to radiate. It does not judge, prohibit, suppress, or oppress any of its parts, as it lovingly knows that all aspects have a time and a place, and leads us to experience the full breadth of life's offerings. The self is a central abiding container, the awareness of the infinite universe of possibilities when this card appears. It's a call to step back in, to witness consciousness, to observe yourself navigating the world. Ask yourself, am I the stew or am I the chef? In most situations, our ego draws us into the cauldron where we swirl, spin, and smolder in chaos. Yet the self is a graceful culinary dancer, watching, waiting, observing as the spectrum of ingredients become the flavor of our life. Look in the mirror for 30 seconds or more. Attempt to see the you behind the you.
And that's hard
Wow.
to do. That is hard to do.
So that kind of plays into all those other cards about just taking time for that self-reflection and that healing that needs to happen, and the roles that we played in each other's lives in those relationships, because those, close love relationships teach us the most, unfortunately.
Yeah, and again, I do not feel like you're blocked. I just feel like this is a this is supposed to be a downtime. This is supposed to be a slow down and reflect time.
Yeah, absolutely. Sending you some love.
Yeah, always. Do we have anything? Yep. Okay. So if you're watching live on Facebook or on Instagram and you have a question that you'd like us to take a look at, please type it in the comments. But we did have one more, and this one's actually mine. I've got a group, a portion of my family that's going through massive change right now. The whole life has been, just in upheaval lately, and I'm kind of looking to Spirit for an encouraging message that I can give them that's not just the cliche type stuff. And I'm like, Lisa, like, I think I'm too close to it.
Yeah.
Because I know what my heart, my ego, the human heart wants to say, but like I know I'm not getting that from Spirit, and I really want it to be like, from Source, from the universe. What's the meaning of this part of their path? What's their next right step? That that kind of thing that can be encouraging to them. So I thought maybe with the energy of the community and with you here that we may get a little more insight on that.
Yeah, let's do that. A little message from the animal kingdom.
You do have one question that just came in.
Awesome.
I'm seeing them like just surrounded in these like big loving arms. So whether that's angelic or they're spirit helpers, or they're like being protected in this big
See, like,
embrace.
I can't even get a card. So.
All right, let's see what animal message might want to come through for them. The butterfly, but it's in reverse. And I think my forest as well. Oh, these are slippery today. Oh, I love that. And then one of these lovely cards, because they're so deep, and I love these cards.
No.
They're really Kim Crayons. The wild unknown archetypes. I think that is what is wanting to come out.
I love the artwork on it. It's very, very mystical.
Yeah. So I pulled the butterfly in reverse, and the butterfly is about transformation, I know, but when it's in reverse, let's see what it says. Transformation does not have to be traumatic or dramatic as things seem to be right now. They are like that right now for them. Remember, change is the only true constant. When you resist it, you create tension within you as you refuse to accept the inevitable. In this moment, you might have forgotten the beauty and joy of life as it moves through its seasons. You are being faced with a choice now. You can struggle with the current conditions, refusing to surrender, and see through the lens of lack and loss. Or you can surrender to the grace that is calling you to allow life to take its course, moving through the sadness and disappointment. Whew. It's making me emotional. Surrender will soften you.
So I just need to take that book.
Yeah. Inviting you to bask in gratitude and see through the lens of curiosity. These are the keys to tuning into the infinite potential available to you now. Butterfly Spirit knows the beauty and delight and that you are on the brink of discovering. Let go and trust that it is there for you. And then I pulled the Miracles card, which
and I pulled the Abundance cards. I feel like those are part of the same.
mm-hmm.
And then also, even though this may not be the life that they thought they wanted, like how can they manifest the life they deserve now, given all the change and everything? And I got make time for self-love, which is definitely kind of piggybacks onto that message of transformation. It may not be the transformation that you wanted, but you still have to accept yourself and love yourself and take care of yourself and to be able to surrender to what's next.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what that one,
The Shapeshifter.
because I'm wondering if these.
This talks about being vibrant and adaptive and humorous. So maybe viewing these changes with some of those characteristics. The Shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. This Shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is the side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. When the Shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focus lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Be wary, though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the Shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. So I think that, for me, that falls back into this miracles and, allowing these changes to happen around you, and don't think that it's like, this is like the worst thing that could happen. I mean, the circumstances are the worst thing that could happen that you could think of in your own mind. But to see the other perspective of it, like the kaleidoscope has so many different ways of seeing things. So it feels like kind of changing the focus and maybe using gratitude in some way.
Well, the other card that I got was denial. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with insight and awareness. And
Shape-shifting denial.
Well, and I feel like this is just like a word of caution. Like, don't. Like a lot of times we can mask. Like, oh, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I've handled this. I've done that. And even though it can appear very healthy and appear like everything's under control, and that you've already transformed and you've acclimated, it can at times, I'm not saying this is what it is happening, but it can be a form of denial. And it was talking about, a word of caution when you dance with the Shapeshifter. Like it's kind of like when your world changes that dramatically, you kind of do have to put on that costume of like, because I have to deal with this thing, I have to do this thing, but you can't stay in that costume all the time. You have to take it off and go through and do the transformation. Otherwise, you're kind of just denying dealing with it, and then it will. If you don't feel it when you're going through it, then you're going to feel it somewhere else down the line, because you're not going to bypass it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah,
wish we could. That'd be easier.
Oh Lord. And why not? Because we're so good at it,
right?
Like, why can't that work? No. Okay, well that was beautiful.
That was helpful.
That was very helpful. We got one.
Yes, Joanna said, hello, hoping to get a general reading, although I know I'm late. You guys are awesome, thank you.
No, no problem, Joanna.
I'm just going to have to say it like it's coming because it's like screaming in my head. What are you doing? That's what your guides are saying. So I'm just going to start with that.
Well, Spirit is all up in your business because we've just about pulled every chakra card that we have.
Let's see.
Yeah, so the first card that I pulled was the heart chakra, and it says it's time for self-care. But then these other two cards kind of jumped out, and it's the crown chakra and synchronicity. So, I feel like you're kind of seeing signs around you, and you are practicing your connection to spirit. And I think that they're acknowledging that they, the way I'm hearing it is that you're doing your half. So don't think we're not doing our half. That kind of thing. And, I pulled out of the manifestation deck just like, what is the advice that she needs to kind of like take it to the next level, or move beyond wherever you are now. And the card that I got was be proud of yourself. So I feel like that's kind of like a duplicate message of time for self-care. Like it's time to be good to you for a while, in whatever way that shows up for you.
Yeah, so I had to get my books out because this one card I have never pulled in the whole time that I've had this deck. So, and I've had it for a while. So I actually pulled the root chakra. So this is saying be grounded in your body. And then the dragonfly, which is all about change. But I wanted to read what it says. Be willing to change your perspective and good fortune will follow. Sometimes you need to back up to go forward. So if you find yourself in that kind of position in your life right now, I would say that's probably okay. As people get older, they find it harder to change. So to activate youthfulness, be willing to make changes without hesitation. And then I pulled, it's very interesting, because I pulled Radha, I don't know how to pronounce that, and the king together. I feel like they belong together. And I have never, ever pulled this card in this deck, ever. And I've had this deck for over a year, I think. Rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship, harmony, and healing.
They're saying that the volume on Facebook is really low, so we just need to
Move a little bit
move a little closer. We've got
All right.
it turned up all the way.
All right, so let's see what Radha says. Is that better on Facebook? Can you hear me better now? Is that better? Okay. So Radha talks about she's a Hindu goddess, and she's part of the divine counterpart of the twin flame of Krishna. Loving union, connection, and relationship harmony are key at this time. It's important to remember, though, that relationships won't make you whole. Only your own love can do that. You now have opportunities to find lost parts of yourself, maybe sensual aspects of the capacity to cherish yourself. The relationships around you will then begin to reflect the love you have for yourself. Increased romance, love, and opportunities to express divine harmony through love are all becoming apparent in your life. You deserve divine love, and Radha, with her Shakti presence, is here to awaken this loving connection within you now. So I feel like that's about self-love.
Well, and that's
The
heart
heart
chakra. I
chakra.
mean, these two cards were absolutely about self-love and taking care of yourself and being proud of yourself.
And then the king, I want to see what the king says. Ooh, I'm getting, top of my head's getting the tingles. The king is about benevolence, divine leadership, service, and nobility. If our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing this entire spectrum of human experience, the king presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions, and rule accordingly. So I think it's about you becoming the king as well, the king and the queen. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted so as to avoid corruption. Recognize the dual nature of the king. He is either seated in benevolence and strength, guiding you toward peace, or he is oppressing the weak out of the need to control. There is not much middle ground. Some think of the king as the ultimate expression of the ego, yet the great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. They take their throne with grace and humility, knowing the divine uses them as a channel to heal deep and long-standing discrepancies in his kingdom. So I feel like that's you becoming both the balanced masculine and the feminine, and also finding your own soul flame within yourself so that you can accept like real love.
And the last card that I pulled was just about like what's the energy of the next right step, and the card that I got is to the sea, and that talks a lot about like being in the flow, letting go of control, kind of like riding the wave, whatever opportunity has presented itself now, kind of like taking full advantage of that and riding that wave as far as you can, and just being in the flow. So that feels very much like like the king. He has to rule according to the options that he has available. So just kind of like being open to the next thing that presents itself, and just kind of going with the flow of life.
With you saying that, being open to what presents itself, that was something that I was feeling when I was reading the cards too, was that I feel like something's going to come along, like a new opportunity. So just be open to that new opportunity.
Right. And just kind of like
be looking for it.
Yeah, neutrally, like be the neutral observer, like just not seeing that, oh, that's an opportunity and that's an opportunity and that's an opportunity, but just like kind of like back and kind of like watching it all play out and letting it kind of like present itself, almost like letting it work itself out while you watch, and then like, oh, okay, now I'm ready to take advantage of that. That's kind of how it feels.
So I felt like you needed one more card. This is the Earth card. You are building a firm foundation. Pay attention to the details, which is kind of what she's saying, to be the observer. And with that root chakra card that I pulled as well, like I think those go hand in hand. So be in your body. You're building a firm foundation and see things from a different perspective. See the big picture.
Right.
To make decisions from that.
Absolutely. That's a great one.
Okay, we have two more questions.
All right.
The first one is from Cindy in
Cindy.
Kentucky. She says she would just like a general reading.
Alrighty. General reading for Cindy.
Okay. Cindy, let me know if this feels right for you or not. I feel like you're kind of at this crossroads, because whenever she read the question, I tuned into your name, I saw a path, and literally like fork in the road kind of a situation. And you can go left or right. Path to the left is well lit and feels very familiar. The one to the right is full of a lot of unknowns. So I'm going to pull cards on the path to the left and the path to the right, I think, because I'm seeing that really clearly. That's interesting. Path to the left, I got enlightenment. In the path to the right, I got passage. And both cards, to me, speak to like a spiritual, kind of a spiritual journey. And I think if I look at these two cards, I see the light like I saw on the path, and I see more of like standing at the edge. This girl is not quite in the circle. She's not into, like, she can't see what it's going to be.
And that's for the right.
Mm-hmm. So
when I ask, like, what would be the lesson in the path to the right, I pulled the regret card, but I pulled it in reverse, and I don't even know if this book has. No, it doesn't have reverse meanings. So, for whatever that means. And it's like when I ask about, I was even asking, like, what is the lesson in the path to the left, and nothing would come out. Nothing would come out. So I went ahead and asked for the right. Then I went back to the left, and when I went back to the left, it's like everything was wanting to
fly out.
Well, that can't be peace and regret.
Is that for the right? Or that's for the left or the right?
That was for the left.
Okay. Yeah, maybe the right path has been some sort of past situation. But with the passage card, if that was a past situation that maybe you've already been through, it feels like you had to go there to learn something. Which one was that for? I think that's for that. The dragonfly. Truth transcends illusion. And I pulled the change with the dragonfly on the other set of cards as well. And then I pulled for the path to the right, which could possibly have been a past situation, or maybe it's something that you didn't do and you regret not doing. I pulled the eagle spirit, which says spirit has your back. So I almost feel like this one to the right could have been something that you've already been through. And just know that even if you had to go through that difficult situation or something that you had to learn difficult lessons from and you have regret over, that spirit was there with you the whole way, helping you along that path. And it's interesting because there's a lot of reds and oranges, so a lot of that root chakra, sacral chakra energy.
Which to me always, well, not always, but in some cases, in situations like this, kind of is like reminds me of family. Like it's the earth family.
Yeah, I have that feeling as well.
And just in general, some of the cards that popped out for you were the throat chakra and release control. Like I was asking, like how can Cindy manifest the the highest and best moving forward? And I got the release control card, and to me it feels like those go together. Like it feels like it's time to most of the time release control means like just like surrender, but to me this feels like it's time for you to be authentic and to speak your truth and let go of the perceived control people have over you. Like you're being a certain way because you think that's the way you need to be, but it's time for you to celebrate who you are and be authentic in yourself.
Cindy's comment is that her mom is in the last stages of Alzheimer's and dementia. She says, I am okay, and then she says, I have MS and am in a wheelchair.
That's interesting. And I pulled the dragonfly spirit along with this lighter colored path that I saw. And the dragonfly is able to move in any direction and change and and still stay aflight and can actually fly while being still, hover in the air.
She says her dad has passed, but I failed him with me waiting to help mom cross.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And then I pulled this,
That
one,
would be
the peace.
the piece.
Yeah, because Chandra pulled the peace card as well for this path. And this may be, I wonder if this has to do with your mother, the passage, the regret, the eagle spirit, like spirit's there to help her
Mm-hmm.
pass. And whether that spirit is your father, which very well could be.
And to support you in kind of doing, I feel like that may be the thing that you feel like you're supposed to do. You know, that the spirit's there to support you in taking care of her because you feel like that's your responsibility.
And if there's any regret or, over things that were said or not said, or, not being able to talk to her like you would normally because, she's not in her same
Cognitive
cognitive
space, yeah.
consciousness. So I pulled this card, the One, which is our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that are left to savor for a lifetime. The One is both the energy that unites all living beings and our capacity to sense this intimate union. This archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept in a distant galaxy. Yet when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across the land. We glimpse ourselves in the vastness of all consciousness and are neither small nor large within that field. We are neither important or unimportant. All duality fades away, and we are left with what is, the precious knowing that life is a gift. And we are both the giver and the receiver of this fortune. So I think that really speaks to both your path and your mother's path at this time, that life is a gift.
So, and when you started talking about, the two paths, I was definitely feeling like a lot of, like it just felt very confusing. Like it felt like, for lack of a better way to say it, not knowing which way to go. And now I'm kind of feeling like this is talking about, I feel like Cindy's in a place where she's good with herself, the enlightenment, she's connected to source, she has a peace, but like this is the side that is like what she's dealing with and having to do for family. Like I feel like there's a kind of like a duality going on within herself, and it kind of gives you that. And I know when you're a caretaker, you kind of feel that like you're living in two places at one time.
Yeah.
Or like
Cindy commented that she is the only child in her mother's and nursing home.
same. So because it's kind of like if you go out and have fun, you kind of feel guilty because you know that that's not something that they can do anymore. So it's just like in the headspace, it can be very confusing because you're in two places at one time. So I definitely feel for you there.
Cindy said you nailed it.
Okay.
All right.
So we have 2 more questions and a hello from.
But Cindy, just know that Spirit understands that you're living kind of in two worlds right now, and I feel like the One card was a overarching thing. Like Spirit knows, and the One card is like about source. So it's like the universe has your back. The Spirit knows what you're dealing with, and they're there to support you. So that's kind of like what I felt from that card. Sorry, Rosalie. Yes.
We have 3 new questions.
Good gracious.
So
We'll get to as many as we can because we have a hard
Only
stop
10
at 12.
minutes.
But
Yeah.
That's what let's see. So Jennifer, advice for a trip or move next year.
Advice.
Jennifer.
Like a yes or a no kind of a thing. Should she do it? Should she not? A trip or a move.
Yes, that's what she said.
Okay. So I'm going to do a card for a trip and a card for a move for next year.
We have a hello from Siobhan.
Hello. know what I'm getting on this, because it feels like the cards that I'm pulling for the move is like pause, reflect. No, this was for the trip. Pause, reflect, and integrate. So maybe a trip would be the opportunity for you to do that. Also, I pulled it's time to stand out. I think, and then with the move, the throat chakra, so speak authentically what it is that you want to do. Maybe you need to speak authentically what you want to do to your guides. And then I pulled the earth card, which is about building a firm foundation and pay attention to the details. So if you do want to move, because I'll be honest with you, we can do whatever we want to do. We have free will. So if the move is the thing that you are really wanting to do, then decide it and talk to your guides about it and build the foundation to make it happen. If that's really what your heart desires and you feel like it's good for everybody.
Yeah. I pulled the soulmate card, but I feel like that is more about one of these options, the wherever the destination is. Like there's a pull to that destination, and you feel like if the destination were a person, it would be your soulmate. Like there's this pull there. But then the next two cards and I was asking for like the next right actions. And the next card I pulled was milk and honey, but in reverse. And that card speaks about a nameless unease compels you to turn to pleasure and comfort as a means to escape what's really going on. So, because this is, a place that you long for, could you be looking at going there as a form of some kind of escape?
Yeah.
So before the feelings return and you need to re-up until you're exhausted, feeling worse than before, you may continue to struggle. So just, I would say just
understand your why.
Understand your why. Be cognizant of that before you make a decision. And then I also pulled the No Place Like Home card, but also in reverse. And that's, there are times when what is familiar and known is not the best choice. Human beings are memory driven. So, and I'm not feeling clear whether that's talking about like where you are now, versus the move, or if it's talking about the new place.
Jennifer says the trip is to Hawaii and we'll celebrate our anniversary there. The move is not far. It's into my mother's house.
Okay, that's helpful.
So, but this card in reverse, it says, choose something unfamiliar and trust that there you will find a new normal that supports your spirit. Remember, if you do what you did, you'll get what you got.
Yeah, I think with the pause card for the trip to Hawaii, it's like that would be a time for you to rest and reflect. And then the giraffe standing out, maybe that's the time you go to gather your strength so that you can stand out. So you have the energy to be in the forefront. And I also pulled the cave card. Those who are fortunate enough to find and enter the cave are forever changed. It is a place of potent power, acting both as a portal to another realm and a space for sacred ritual and initiation.
Well, if that doesn't describe Hawaii, I don't know what does.
I know. The cave is a place to return for meaningful retreat. So I'm going to say yes on that. I'm not going to finish reading this because I think that's a yes on the trip to Hawaii. As far as moving into your mom's place, I feel like I want to pull one more card on that because I don't know that I get a real feeling about that being a good move or not. I feel like it's like a 50-50.
Yeah.
There's no definite yes, there's no definite no. Maybe it's just a decision that you can make, and either way,
it'll be fine if you do. It'd be fine if you don't.
Yeah. And I pulled the higher self card, so I think just really, and remember your power, solar plexus. I would just really ask yourself. Maybe on the trip to Hawaii, you can, really do some reflection on it, whether you want to do it or not. But I think either way, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Hope that was helpful. And we had one more.
try to get this in.
Dawn,
4 minutes.
she would like some insight on her son Xander's career path. He's a film student.
Oh. I don't know what kind of interest he has when he's making films, but oh, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like more documentary style or more like realistic of like what actually might be happening in the world, and I don't know if he feels any desire at this point in time in his life. I mean, he's still in school. He might not know exactly what he wants, but I'm getting like telling people stories. So
Yeah. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was a podcast where I do the show notes for it, and I always look for like, you know, just like a meaty quote that can be used as an audiogram. And I had listened to the whole thing and gotten almost to like the last 3 minutes, and I'm like, there's been nothing that has really stood out. And then in the last few words, they were talking about, you know, you have a purpose, and your message needs to be heard.
And Dawn said, heart-centered, yes.
Yeah. And so as you were talking, that that was brought to my memory of sitting there listening to that whole thing, and in the last few minutes hearing that, you know, be sure that whatever message you have, it matters and it needs to be heard. So and I got the Observer card. So as a filmmaker, that's
what you do.
That's what you do.
And the sword, which this is the light and the dark, and as we know, that industry can be one or the other. And it's talking about cutting through to what is essential. So for him, if it's essential for him to make a difference, then he'll be on this side. But I think he'll have to be aware of that duality of that industry.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this co-create card in reverse, I feel like he might do better off. He might be better off working a lot on his own.
Well,
with his own ideas and his own vision.
Yeah. Because I was looking at the meaning, and it talks about reclaim your partnership with spirit. Inspiration will flow through you as soon as you get out of your own way. So, you know, he just needs to be true to himself, and not like try to make the film that he thinks will sell, or that he thinks is going to whatever, get him the A from that professor or be a bestseller. But he will have the most success making the heart-centered, the things that he knows are meaningful and that mean something to him is where he'll get the most.
I think we're
Yeah.
gonna have to shut it down.
We're gonna shut it
y'all.
down now. But yeah, I think that I feel good about the filmmaker. I think the cards really support that. But
Yes, he is.
he's
Okay.
just got to be true to himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys.
So next week, we need to get to Garlic Kathy.
Okay.
And Savon.
All right.
Next week
awesome.
we will.
Yeah.
We promise. We'll
Did you
keep those
write their
notes.
questions down.
I wrote their questions
Okay.
down.
We'll do your questions next week, y'all.
We will definitely do that.
Hi, Universal Soul Traveler. If you missed us, go back to the beginning.
Because
It never gets posted.
We did you very first.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks
All
for
right.
watching, and we will see you next week.
Hi, guys.
Bye.